Hello friends, welcome to Game Asset Creation in Blender. At first it seems a very daunting task, is it not so? But if one has a closer look, it is not. It's not easy though. It's a thing that has a system behind it. To cut it very short, basically, when you sculpt in Blender using dynamic topology, what you do is you keep subdividing the mesh. It becomes very, very dense, and then you have to deal with so many millions of triangles, tries as we call them. And this dense mesh is useless when it comes to animation. Now, in game asset creation, what we are mainly concerned about is the poly count, and preferably in place of tries, we would like to have quads. Quad geometry is preferred. And therefore, there is a way out. Of course, one has to put in hard work. So, what you do is you sculpt a mesh, a high density mesh in Blender, then over it, you construct a low poly mesh. And the poly count depends on what is your requirement for the game. And therefore, with this brief introduction, we will dive into creating a high poly asset in Blender and then convert it into a low poly asset that is game ready. So we begin and start creating. All the best. Hello friends, in this tutorial we will be creating a rock. Rather, we will be sculpting a rock out of the same cube you see here. And after sculpting the rock using dynamic topology, we are going to create a low resolution version, or as it's called, low res version of the rock as a game asset. So I told you already in the introduction that for an asset to be a game asset, it has to be low poly. The poly count has to be very low, and the geometry preferably should be a quad geometry, not a tri geometry. We'll put the dynamic topology detail size to 8, and we are going to switch off the symmetry. The mirror in the X is on. We'll switch it off because you don't have a symmetrical rock, right? So we'll pull and push and create a rock. Okay. Snake hook brush. Make the size bigger with F. Okay. We'll pull and push and create the shape of a rock. Okay. I for inflate. We can inflate and then smooth out. Okay. So basically a rock can have any shape. You not be worried about the shape. Okay. We can put this in. Okay. So there is our rock. This is a rock. Okay. So now what over this rock, let us see what is the poly count. It's around 16,442 faces. Okay. 16,442. Here faces means the triangles you can see. 16,442 triangles. Okay. Shade smooth. Now over this we'll have to construct a low poly version. Okay. How do we do that? We can it's a time taking task, but we can do it taking a plane. Shift A, mesh plane. Okay. G, Z, move it up and scale it down. Before doing anything else, we are going to give this plane a different color so that there is no confusion. New in the viewport, we'll give a different color. Okay. Viewport display, we'll give it a green color or maybe blue color, any color. Any color will be fine. Okay, make it smaller. Okay, and here there's some settings. Snap settings. Snap to face is the best closest face. Okay, and here we'll have to add a modifier, shrink wrap modifier. Shrink wrap modifier is here, and the target will be the cube, and we'll make it above the surface and keep an offset this much. Okay, and that should be fine. All the settings are there. We go to the edit mode and then we can press 2 for the edge selection, and we can start making the low res geometry over this. Okay, you can see it is snapping. Rotate it, extrude, 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 rotate, extrude, extrude. Give it a different direction so that it comes here, and here we join. Okay, we select both these edges and press F, so the meshes join. Okay, now we can do something like press tab and go, it's already in the edge mode, and select loop, select loops, edge loops. Okay, and with this edge loop selected, we can extrude, make things easier for us. Okay, Extrude again, E for extrude. Rotate it. E extrude again. Grab. Okay. We'll adjust this geometry a bit in the vertex mode. Select the point, move it here, move it, move the point here. Okay. Make some minor kind of adjustments. Again, the edge, select the edge and select loops, edge loop, E extrude, S for scale. Okay, E extrude, no, E extrude, grab, no, S for scale. Okay, extrude, S for scale. We grab it. Okay, E for extrude, grab it. What we do is scale it down, grab it, and we could do one thing in the point mode. In the vertex selection, we'll merge these vertices at the center. So one side is done. Similarly, the other side, select loops, edge loop, E extrude, E extrude, E extrude, S scale. We will adjust the points here, vertices here, okay, and adjust the vertex over here, here. Again, go to the edge mode and select edge loop, E for extrude, S for scale, and we could come to the vertex selection and M, merge the points at the center. Okay, so we've quickly made a low resolution geometry over here, and you can maybe increase the offset a bit. Okay, and now you can apply it here. We have quickly created a low resolution rock over here. As you can see it, we'll separate this. G, grab, uncheck the snap. Okay, so you got a low resolution geometry, and see the poly count here. Faces 176. Imagine here the faces Try 16,600 faces here, and we got it down to how many? We got it down to 176 faces. So this is the new geometry that we created, the quad geometry. This is a game ready asset. This is the game ready asset we have created. Now we could delete this dense mesh and center this, grab it and center it, shade smooth. Now this is a game asset we have created. Why? Because it is just 176 faces. Okay. Now before we actually apply texture to it, we have to do UV editing. A very simple thing would be to select, press 2 for the edge selection. We select an edge loop, select where is the edge loop selection? Oh, here. Okay, here. Select loops, edge loop, and we mark a seam over here. Mark seam. A, select all, and U for unwrap. So unwrapped it. Okay. And now here we are going to texture it quickly by applying an already existing texture from the plugin that is here, Extreme PPR plugin. What we could do is we could select a rock texture from here, rock texture. Yeah, these are rock textures. Any of this texture you could select. Suppose we select this one, add new, right? We remove the old material and the rock texture we have already applied. Okay. Now we'll have to see in the shader whether even the bump map is applied. If not applied, we can apply the same map as bump map. Okay. The bump map is not yet applied. Okay. We'll select the same color map and Shift A, vector bump. We connect color to the height, normal to normal. Okay, you see the bump has come, but bump seems to be, the strength seems to be so much. We'll reduce the strength of the bump to around maybe this much, 0.4. Distance, leave it at around 9. Okay, so that's how our low resolution rock is very quickly textured. Okay, now we'll do some test render. GZ and Shift S, cursor to world origin, Shift A, mesh plane, S for scale. Now 0 for camera view. Above the light, we'll make this light into sunlight, and 8 into the power. Let us rotate the sunlight. Let us bring it near the camera. 0. Let us adjust the camera and let us try to render it. F12. Press F12 to render the scene of the rock, textured rock. It's good, isn't it? Okay, let's rotate the rock. R. Rotate the rock. And this camera is from top. You can actually get the camera down. Grab the camera and get it here. Rotate the camera. Grab it. And let's have a look at the rock. F12 again. Wow, that's cool. That's a very cool rock, right? Make the ground dark in color. Base color very dark. Press F12 again to render. That's cool, right? And let's give the world background color blue, sky blue. F12. It's a beautiful rock that we have created, and it looks a high poly rock, whereas it's actually low poly. It's a game asset you have created, just 176 faces for the rock, and you could shiftly duplicate the rock or rotate it, duplicate the rock, rotate it, scale it down, grab it, keep it here, keep it on top. Okay, now let's render this scene. Let us reduce the focal length. Let us see how our rock looks. Okay, rotate this, the ground, scale it up. F12 again to render. Wow, looks cool, real cool. So now we have successfully created beautiful rock, okay, mossy rock, and we could render it from a different angle, or rotate the camera, grab it, and let's render it and see. F12. Oh, that's beautiful. And suppose we increase the intensity of the sunlight, make it around 11. Let us render the scene. F12 again. Oh, that's beautiful. Now those are real rocks you have created very, very quickly. Those are wonderful and low poly game assets. So this is how, friends, we have made our first low poly asset. We have created the rocks. You can see them in real time, rendered in real time. We have created beautiful low poly rocks. Well, let's save it. Call them low poly rocks. Create a folder. Low poly rocks. ROCK. Save the rock as a blend file. And I hope you enjoyed modeling this rock. And if you have a texture, you can simply apply to it just like we did. Okay, then thanks for watching. We will come up with the second series on low poly game assets. Thanks for watching.